This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, I'm happy the show we're doing tonight is on a Thursday because of the fact where the league just ended last night. So I feel like a Thursday night show when we have this scheduled weekly fits kind of right in, right? With the league being finishing on Wednesday night and then us going live Thursday night. So I know we'll talk a lot about the league shows, mostly talk probably, some cool stuff on how to probably make it better in our opinion. But before we get into that,
yeah, Nico checking in the chat. Sorry about the change in the start time. Real quick there, I hit Rob with a curveball. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it right when we were going to start, but it worked out. Alex, what's good? What's going on, Hoss? Kevin, welcome. Carl Ong, Agent Ong Open. Keep in mind, okay, bringing up the play of Brock Purdy. Yeah, he's looked good so far, no doubt. He's looked good so far. I mean, but then am I right that even if he plays well in the regular season throughout this whole season, the question's then going to become, is he a playoff ready quarterback? Because the play takes a step up at that level. So there's still more questions to be answered.
Here's my opinion on that. You don't know you're playoff ready until you're in the playoffs, and then you find out if you're ready. So there's no really correct answer until they get to the playoffs. But didn't he play in the playoffs last year, though? Didn't he play in the game? Did he get hurt?
He got hurt.
I don't remember. He got hurt. Okay.
Yeah, in the NFC Championship anyway, he got hurt.
Yeah,
against the Eagles.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've hit a couple parlays early in the season. I hit a couple parlays early in the season. How's your gambling been going, Rob?
I'm 100%. I've won all three of my bets.
Oh, yeah? You've only made 3 bets?
Yeah, I just started. I don't bet the first week. It's been a golden rule of mine. I never, ever bet the first week.
Okay.
But I hit a first touchdown opening night. Remember we talked about it? That was the only thing that I bet opening night was the first touchdown. And then last week I bet the Jets Patriots under, which I thought was the lock of the year. And also I bet the Seahawks -5 at home because I was really confident. I'm really confident with this in the Seahawks at home. I won't bet them on the road, but I'll bet them at home.
Recently I had Eagles -5.5, Bengals -3. Bengals pushed, so I won the bet, but not the way I should have. And then I had Packers -1, push that. Steelers +2.5, Seahawks -5, Dolphins -6 last weekend. Cash that one.
Dolphins covered, right? That -6.
They put up 70. That was crazy. That was crazy. So, and then 2 weeks ago, I had Cowboys over the Jets, Niners, Dolphins, Bills, Chiefs, all money line. I hit that one as well. So
I want to put this comment up because Lou Gaudio, if he knows the pain, he knows the pain of being a Mets Jets fan, dude. I will swear to you that will be the first thing I say to a girl when I'm on a date with her is I am a Mets Jets fan. And you know what that shows them?
That's why you're
that
still
I'm
single.
Very loyal. No, I'm a very loyal person being a Mets Jets fan because we haven't won a championship since '86. And it doesn't even look like we're going to win something anywhere in the near time future. So, yeah. All right, Mike, did you do a league? Did you have league review? Let's talk league.
No league review, but here's what I'm going to say. I think that league bowling should be banned in September.
Okay.
In the month of September.
Okay.
I think that September should be if we're going to shorten the league schedule. I think September should be a month that we chop off at least 3 weeks, maybe 4. Okay, and here's why I feel that way. And I know some people are going to disagree with me on this, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I respect everybody's opinion. I'm just speaking from my own perspective, right, and my own experience. That's all I can do. September is a really busy month, man. Like, the kids are going back to school. I know in other states as well, it's earlier than that. So maybe states would adjust this. Some states might be August. Other states might be September that league starts or doesn't start. But around here on the East Coast, kids are going back to school. Personally, I'm really busy. Got back to school nights for the kids. I have my own back to school night. My wife's back to school night. Sports are starting up. Soccer's starting up. Basketball's starting up in a lot of instances. So I just feel like there's always a lot going on in September. Football's starting up. Sundays. You really want your Sundays free in September if you're a football person. You at least want to watch the beginning of the season, even if your team stinks. Okay, so yeah, I feel like I'm anti league bowling in September. And last year I didn't start the sport league piece until October. And, they decided to start it earlier this year, which is fine. But, yeah, for me, I think that taking the first month off of the league season just makes sense because of how much I have going on. And it actually gives me a chance to adjust to my new schedule and my new routine in my household and then decide how does league bowling fit into this, right? So yeah, I feel like if I make that decision beforehand and it turns out to be a disaster, then yeah, that's kind of on me either way, whether it's quitting the bowling league or having my family put up with me not being around when they might need me there for something. So I think my official stance from here on out is I'm just anti-September league bowling.
I mean, it's not a bad take. I personally, like, you've brought it up before, like if they were to do like thirds or maybe even like a half season where they would go from like October 1st to maybe like Christmas time, maybe before Christmas, and then have the break from Christmas and New Year's, and then start a new like second, or if you want to call it, and have it from like January to March, and then maybe take a few weeks off, and then like I don't know, like we already talked about this. I have opinion about the 36-week league season. I think it's awful. I think it's a huge commitment. 36 weeks of just doing anything really is.
Yeah, I didn't want to do 36 weeks, and I agree with you. I don't think the 36 league format works. We talked a lot about that. Lou pointing out there were 14 bowlers, says it's dying. I don't know. We'll see. It's still going to continue for a while, but I have to say, adding weeks in an environment where it's optional to show up, to me, is not a good idea if you're looking to get more people in the weeks that you do run. Because if you run more weeks, does this make sense? If you run more weeks, you are giving people more opportunities to say, I'm not going to go this week. I'll go next week. Look at what I'm doing. It's the same thing for me. It's like they made more weeks. They added these weeks in September. And I'm saying, it's September. I'm busy. I'm not going to go this week. And I'm sure there's others. I'm sure there's other people. I mean, what about people who already bowl leagues that want to come to this? Like, do they really want to add this on if you're bowling 3 leagues? Oh, it's a 4th night. If you already settle into your 3 leagues and you have your routine and you're free on Tuesdays and you want to come, it kind of frees you up to do that. So, yeah, we'll keep it going. I mean, everybody knows. Lou knows, everybody knows that it's tough to get people in numbers to come out and bowl on the more challenging stuff on a regular basis. But, I will say I don't think that adding weeks to what we were doing was a good decision, again, in terms of trying to draw as many people as you can to the weeks that you're running.
Yeah, no, it's a weird, you guys have like a kind of a unique, like, optional league now that has weeks, and I don't know.
We're also bowling on the same patterns as last year, which I think doesn't encourage people to come out. Like if we were bowling on new patterns, I think people are going to be more willing to come out not only to try it, but even people who didn't have success last year are going to come out and think, oh, it's new patterns. Let me check it out. And people like me might say, well, I better get there once or twice just to see the pattern so I don't get so far behind, other people that are showing up. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm hoping we change the patterns in the next 9-week set. Maybe that freshens things up a bit. But, yeah, it's tough. It is. It's tough. I'm not. I am not in the dark on that. So, but that's my league report for this week. I'll likely be back next week. I'll likely be there next week and be there to do my thing. So I should have a league report, an official league report for the people next week. But again, I think I'm anti-league bowling in September.
All right. Let's. You want to get into the league? Let's get into it.
There you go. Look at this. My guy, Greg Tack, okay, says he'll be there next week. So we're up to 16 next week already, Lou. We're up to 16 next week already, okay? Maybe Greg Tack doesn't like league bowling in September either. Maybe that's why he decided to sit it out. What's up, Greg?
I know Greg's kind. Greg likes bowling. It doesn't matter what time of the year. I know the type. I don't think I've ever met Greg personally, but I know the type that Greg is, and Greg likes to bowl regardless of the year, the time, whatever it is, right? He loves
Look at
it.
what he's asking in the chat. Are they going to let us stay and bowl after?
Exactly.
The answer's no.
Exactly.
The answer's no, but we feel you, Greg. We feel you for sure.
So anyway, okay. So we had some bowling on TV, Mike.
Live bowling was back, Rob.
Live bowling was back. Betting on bowling was back. I thought I gave a very good advice last week.
I lost money as usual.
You did.
I lost money as usual.
If you'd have took my advice, you might have won. Remember, I said you should put money on bets on all the lowest odds. Remember? And I also was like the Portland Lumberjacks were plus 900. I was just like, that was a pretty solid bet. They didn't win, right? But I would have been feeling really good about it. And
no, it was plus 600. It was plus 600. Okay.
I had it at 900 the one I checked.
Nah, I'm pretty sure it was never higher than 600 because I had a problem with Bet Rivers. Like the app wasn't working for me. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I logged on and I was going to put money on some of the things that we talked about on the show. I think it was like the day after the show I logged on and I couldn't get the app working. And then by the time I did get it working, the qualifying had already taken place. And Portland led the qualifying. So they went from 6-1 to like I forget what the odds were, to be honest, but I know it wasn't more.
It was like 150 or 200. I think.
Yeah, I said I know it wasn't more than plus 200. I know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't take them. I took the LAX because I thought if anybody's going to get hot, maybe Belmo decides to show up and really take this to the next level and just carry his team to victory, which didn't happen, obviously. In fact, I saw him send out something on social media saying that, like, highlighting the new ball he was throwing in the shots that he threw at this event.
Like the 2 shots.
Can we come back to that at some point? Yeah, okay.
Because
in another point. All right.
Could you imagine?
Anyway, betting wise, I also bet on the strikers because I thought, listen, I could see them winning. I mean, I felt like they had the best lineup with Bill, and I felt like, even though I think DJ Archer is not as strong a player to have in your lineup as Bill, I did think that because of the guys around him and the building that it was in, that he was more than able to give them enough to win, in the position that they were in. So I put 25 and 25. I only lost $50, but I put 25 and 25, and I lost on both. Wish I would have had money on the Waco Wonders, though. That's for sure. Jeez.
No, I mean, nobody saw that coming.
At the beginning of the whole event, right? I mean, they were plus 4 digits. They were plus 4 digits. I mean, so yeah, if they continue that event in the fashion that they're doing it, that really is those really are smart bets to go and put $20 down on each one of those, and you never know what's going to happen, right? Lou commenting, Simonelli career comebacks, biggest winner. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. I'll be honest. I'm surprised to hear you say that, Lou. I'm surprised to hear you say that. But we'll talk about that as we get into our breakdown of the league here. Did you gamble at all on the league, Rob?
I went to go put my bets in, and I forgot that qualifying was really earlier on Saturday for me, and the bets were already off. Bet Rivers. I'm an idiot. I should have put the bets in Friday night, and I decided that I was gonna. I just didn't do it until Saturday morning, and the bets went away early. And we're on the West Coast or Mountain Time, but right now we're on the West. So yeah, I was pissed because I was going to bet Portland Lumberjacks. Um, Not saying I would have won. Obviously, I wouldn't have won. But I was going to bet on a lot of the lower odds, like I said I was going to. And yeah, I could have, should have, would have. Right? If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. So no, I didn't. I stayed away from the rest of it. I just, I watched them. Was I really into it? And was I really like, you know, just really, like, no, I kind of just watched them because they are kind of entertaining. And I didn't have really a lot of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, Mike, is. Maybe you could do. So here's my question. I'm going to throw this to you because
Well,
that's
I was
kind of
going to say
transition.
let's bridge over into this more broad conversation about the PBA League that we want to have, because I don't know if the people are going to be disappointed or not, but we're not going to do a full breakdown of all the matches. We'll talk about the last match, but to be honest, Rob, the last match was a gasser. The last match was 3-0, and most of the games from what I was watching. Now, I didn't have the volume turned up while I was watching because my kid was doing homework. But from what I saw, okay, and what I was following, most of the games, and if I'm wrong, let me know, but 2 of the 3 games seemed like they were over by like the 8th frame. 9th frame at the least.
Yeah,
I mean, I know in the closing game, Simonelli got up, and basically all he needed was a mark. And even if he didn't mark, they were going to have to throw all 3. Yeah, so I didn't really think there was much drama in that final. There was definitely some drama in some of the other matches. I didn't catch all of them. I caught some of them. I went back and watched some of them after catching some highlights on social media.
Yeah, the match with Las Vegas with AJ.
Yeah, stands out, right?
Was to me one of the best matches because of the back and forth that was going on. And I enjoyed a lot of the shows. I didn't say I didn't enjoy them. I thought they were entertaining. It was good to see bowling back on TV. I do have some.
Well, that's the thing. It's so entertaining. It's so entertaining. It's such a good product.
Yeah,
the PBA League. It is. That's the second time you said that, and
yeah.
I 100% agree with you. And I think a lot of the fans feel the same way, Rob.
Yeah.
That this is a really good, entertaining product. In fact, one of our people here who's in the chat from time to time, Steph, he texted me while he was watching it, and he's kind of new to bowling and new to checking out professional bowling, but he's definitely in that demographic that you want attracted to bowling. Okay, so he hit me up and was like, "Yo, is this PBA League like a 1 weekend thing and that's it?" And I said, "Yeah, it's just a 1 weekend thing and it's over. That's it." I said, honestly, it's more of an exhibition than it is an actual, legitimate competition, right? Speaking in terms of traditional formats and qualifying and things of this nature, right?
So here's my question.
I explained that, right? And his response to me was, "Oh, this needs to be like a full-time thing for the PBA Tour with like player signings and draftings and re-signings and dropping players, but they need to put more into it. They need to make it a bigger event, a multi-piece event, a multi-stop event, if you will." But go ahead. Obviously we want to talk about, about that issue, about the fact that it's so entertaining. But what do you do with it? Because in its current form, I got to be honest, to me anyway, as a hardcore fan, again, it's super entertaining.
It
but
is.
it's not must-see viewing for me as a
It's
hardcore fan of bowling. It's something that I can DVR. I can be like, all right, I'll watch it whenever. There's certain things I love about it. I love the fact that the legends of the game are involved in it. I absolutely chef's kiss love that. I mean, whoever got the legends involved, the Petraglias, the Monicellis that involved, great job. Great job. I mean, that's just amazing stuff, right? We all love to see that. I also love the crowd and the hypeness around it and the entertainment, right? But I think if you have such an entertaining product, it almost is your responsibility to try and do something more with it. So I don't know.
so wait.
Take it wherever you want.
I'm gonna say something that is gonna completely be the opposite of everything that I've been talking about the last 4 years. Okay, there was something about Arturo that felt like you knew what he was gonna do if he struck, and I didn't really find that like hype because he was just was he getting overly hype? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't feel like I can't explain it, but I just oh, he's gonna strike and he's just gonna get on a knee and he's just gonna yell "Ah," and then like I just something about it like didn't feel like it was like I don't know. I
But
wasn't hyped with him. I didn't get hyped with him.
natural, like it was
No,
natural, or
it was, but I just couldn't get hype with him. Like sometimes, like I watch these guys and they're getting hype. Like when Simo won his title and he was like yelling in the camera, like they do you want to be us or whatever he was yelling, like it was hype. Like yeah, let's get hype. When AJ Johnson gets hype, like it's like yeah, AJ's getting hype, right? Andrew Anderson, like the team, I wanted them to win because I was like on like because I love AJ and I love like but for some reason, like when Arturo would get hype, I'd be like, like I don't know, like. And then I found out he moved there and he lives there and he coaches there, and I was
and they
surprised.
sponsor him and they
I,
sponsor him, which is
yeah, that was
awesome.
surprising to
Which
me.
is awesome. I mean, see, I'll be honest. I was feeling Arturo because of that, because he
No,
moved there and he bowls
the
there,
first
and they
time,
know him. Like the
yeah,
crowd is there for
I
him,
know.
man. Like they want it for him so bad. I feel that so much. I
But it was
really did.
the first time or two. Like remember last year when he was on television, it felt so much better and so much like he was talking to himself and like his wife and his kids were there and he was getting all hype and he was talking to himself. One of the greatest moments in the league, in my
That
opinion.
was awesome.
And this year, it just didn't feel the same as last year. It just felt like he was just, yeah, and then like, okay, like, all right, enough. Like the way
Okay,
Simonelli acted was a little bit more hype for me, right? Like he was like on that, like,
let's talk about that.
let's talk about that. But before we get into Simonelli and like, his chip on his shoulder, right?
No, we got to knock that out right
No,
now. We got to
I
knock
want to.
that out right now.
Okay.
I mean, come on. It was like the big storyline of the league. Was it not?
So,
Am I wrong? I mean, Steph, I just brought you up, actually. I just brought you up. Yo, 300, 279 in league. Nice, man. See, bowling on the tough stuff is paying off. Good for you. Nonetheless,
okay. So
listen,
talk about Simonelli.
if I'm wrong, tell me. Wasn't Simonelli and his redemption the storyline of this league season, of these league shows?
Well, they made it out to be that, and they made
Okay.
out Parker Bone. They really pumped up the Parker Bone story about being. How I mean, I don't know how many times they can
Love
mention
that.
that he was 60.
Love that. Love
Um,
that, because the guy's a legend.
he's a
Like
legend.
I
He's the
said,
best.
I love legends being
I know.
involved in any way,
I
shape, or
know.
form.
And he
Okay.
still throws it like he was. I mean, he still throws it so good. But
Dude, it's sick.
I know.
So,
But like they can't.
and
Did they really
I'm
kind of
all
keep
with
bringing
that.
up that he was that old? Like they kept bringing it up. He's like 60 and he's like he's old and they literally every time he picked up the ball, here he comes the old man. Like, all right, we get it, but he throws the ball better than 90% of the 30-year-olds. So I don't want to hear how old he is.
But like, listen, in terms of the storyline of Simonelli and
Yeah.
him being dropped and then being picked up by another team and the chip on his shoulder and this whole storyline they did, I have to be honest, as a true fan of PBA bowling, it didn't interest me at all. I wasn't even hearing it. I didn't even want to hear it. And I'm going to tell you why, because when I watched PBA bowling this season, and I watch a lot of qualifying, okay, if there was one player out there who was bowling like they were going through the motions, okay, I would say that was Ryan Simonelli from what I saw throughout this season. And listen, I understand that it's like the worst mental grind you could possibly have to go through out there. I totally get it. I understand that being a lefty out there is often another part of the mental challenge. But you can't sell me the storyline of him having a chip on his shoulder when when the reason that he's in the position he's in is really because of his lack of success in the regular tournaments in the regular season. I mean, if anything, in some instances, the PBA League is a reflection of who's hot and who's not. Right? It's a reflection of who the teams pick is a reflection of who's hot and who's not. Okay, so
No, I don't know.
in some instances, yes. We'll go there. We'll go there. Don't worry, because that's something that to me, if you want to sell this very entertaining product that you have, definitely has to change. Right. So we'll go there. But back to Simonelli for a second.
Good. There's a good point by Leon, though. Half the team is dropped every year, so lots of chip on shoulders.
I
mean,
I
Chris
know.
Barnes didn't
Barnes
have a chip
got
on his
dropped.
shoulder.
I know. So I don't know. I just
What it was? Let
Let
me say my opinion on this. Okay, he knew he had the nuts. Okay, he knew he had it. He knew he had the reaction. He knew he had the look. Right? He knew he wasn't really gonna miss. Right? Maybe leave a 7-pin or a 6-pin, but other than that, he knew he wasn't gonna miss. And it kind of fed into his like confidence and like, you know what, like I like it just kind of came out on the lanes. Like, I know I'm not gonna miss. I have the nuts, I have the reaction, so I'm just gonna literally steamroll everybody. And that's what he did. And that's kind of why I feel like he was acting the way he was acting, right? Because of the fact that he had the nuts and he had a reaction. And keep in mind too, he had a lot of the left on the lanes that he was bowling on to himself to a certain degree. Parker was using a resin ball, like it wasn't really affecting his shot. And he throws the ball hard enough too, where it really the transition really wasn't affecting him. So
Lou in the chat says resurgence of Simonelli. I've never seen a 14-pound ball hit harder.
we'll see.
All right, so
We'll see.
here's my question, Lou. Are you betting then that Simonelli is going to have a much better season next year than he had this year? If we're wagering before the start of next season, are you willing to put that wager on the line that Simonelli is going to have a better season next year? And if we're going to have that conversation, what does that better season look like, and what's the extent of it, right? If you want to give details on that, but I'll be honest, I would not bet on that. I would not take that action. I think that the circumstances in this event, as Rob explained to a degree there, kind of line up, for him to bowl well.
He does have an advantage though in 2024. He does. Is the fact that Urethane isn't going to be in play anymore, at least the Purple Hammer, and he's not the type to really ever be successful with the Urethane as a lefty, right? So when the left is good, I would put my money on him more than I would put it on Buttriff and Jesper Svensson at this point. Honestly.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point, actually. So okay. So then
see,
what
look at Johnny.
does that look like?
There you go.
What
Johnny
does that
just
look
said
like?
that, right? Like it's the same thing.
What's up, Hoss?
What's up, Johnny? I personally think Sim will have a better season simply because of the fact of Urethane's not being in play. I mean, so what do you mean that looks like? I don't know, because it's going to change the whole
title or no title.
No, I'm not going to give him a title next year. I think there's just
Okay.
guys like Simon.
Johnny, title or no title? You betting title or no title? Alex says it's plus 550 that he wins a title, minus 210 that he doesn't. I'm taking the minus 210 all day.
I don't think so. I think there's just two. I think guys like Tackett and Simo and Belmo and just they're just too good right now. I think they're just so much better than everybody else.
You're all making. Do you or any of the other knowledgeable people in the chat have information that I don't have about the urethane? Because I have to say, like, you're all making some really bold assumptions that The urethane's going to be out of play, and it's not going to work. It's you, it's John, it's your brother, it's Lou. And listen, I respect all. I mean, the four of you guys. You're like, yeah, I respect all of you as bowlers, obviously, in your knowledge, but I don't see it that way. Why am I so wrong? Why am I so wrong?
Okay, if there was no urethane, if the Purple Hammer was not in play at the league this past 3 days, we might be talking about
But
different results.
why are you so quick to assume that the new Purple Hammer is going to be nowhere near as effective
Nowhere near
as the current Purple Hammer? Why?
No,
Why am I
because
wrong about that? We could
the
write it off. So it's like guilty
Correct.
before innocent.
There is a
It's
big
done.
difference. There's a big difference between the 78 and the 72. The league results from the last 3 days would be completely different if the Purple Hammer wasn't in play. You saw what happened with Snodgrass. Snodgrass couldn't hit shit the first early in the shows, and then he switched to the Purple Hammer and had the nut. Fought, right? Who had the absolute nuts.
Charlie
Didn't
Tapp, you
miss.
agree with these guys? Charlie, you agree with these guys?
Yeah,
I
I would
assume
love
by
to
your
hear.
comment that you do.
I'd love to hear more
I-
opinions about this, but let me
Well,
tell you something.
especially his. I mean,
Sure.
he's somebody that has experience bowling with urethane that was soft. I mean, obviously on different lane conditions and surfaces.
Oh,
things
I
like
love the
that.
fact that we got into a urethane
All right,
conversation.
can I ask this then? Can I ask this then? So
Yeah.
like none of you think at all that the minds behind the bowlers, these great talents, combined with the talents themselves, aren't going to find a way to make the new urethane work?
Nope. It's not going to happen. It's physics,
Man,
Mike. It's physics.
man.
Look,
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to have to see it to believe it.
I know.
I
And
really am.
can't.
I am literally going to have to watch someone throw one of these balls down the lane and have it not hook, and just watch somebody that I
But wait,
know
wait,
can
wait.
hook a ball and be like,
But who says they're making a 78 hardness Purple Hammer? I haven't even heard of any of that talk yet. There hasn't even been any chatter. It's already October, Mike. You would
they're
think
going to
that
make it. They're going to make it.
Are you sure they're going to make a 78 hardness Purple Hammer?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm
just
not
saying.
100% sure, but I could find out. I can find out if we want to find
TQ,
out. But
the table god, man. That's my guy. What up, TQ?
okay, Charlie says high rev guys will probably be okay. Ball reps I talk to have that opinion. Okay. All right.
So
All right.
what does that mean? That means guys like Jason Sterner, the Tang brothers. Yes,
Johnny thinks they're trying to eliminate it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that all I'm saying? Is that the low rev rate guys? Think about the guys that were on the show, Mike, on the Waco, right? Think about those guys. I'm just saying the whole show looks different.
This has to be a burner account, Trey Carter. I'm kidding, Trey. If it's not a burner account, I might have to agree with Big Michael on this one. These guys are too talented not to make harder urethane work. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to see it to believe it, bro. I hear you. All right, we got to get off the urethane conversation. Yeah. Are we done? Are we done with the Simonelli storyline? Are we good on that, or anything else you want to say on that?
No, I mean, look, he had an amazing performance.
He did.
Right?
It was fun to watch.
Fun to watch. He deserved MVP. He deserved
no question.
That team ran over everybody. And shouts to Simonelli, right?
And when they needed him to throw a shot, every time he threw a shot.
Oh, he had the absolute nut. Does anybody know, by the way, what ball he was throwing in the chat? Was that a web tour? It looked like an original web tour. Does anybody know what he was throwing? I would kind of be curious. Be smart at looking at the way the shot was.
Mark Buffa, what's up, Mark, in the chat asking all lefty team in the next draft.
The way the left looks
is it? I want to answer your question with a question and say, is it that serious? Is it that serious up there at Bayside? Yeah. Is it that serious that it would be like that?
So the next thing I want to talk about, Mike, is the fact that I am going to give a lot of heat to Timmy Mack. Okay. As a manager, even though you set a starting lineup and you've been winning for years with that starting lineup, Wes Malata's your anchor, Kyle Troop is your setup man, right? They've won whatever it was, like 3 Elias Cups, right, in a row, or 2 of them, whatever it was. You have a duty to understand what's going on the lanes and even in the final match, you need to have enough courage to change the lineup when you need to. Okay. Here's what I would have done if I was Timmy. Okay. Now I'm not saying they would have beat the Waco Wonders. Okay. Because the Waco Wonders shot, I think, like 770 or
Yeah,
something,
this
right?
match wasn't even close.
It wasn't. But how he could leave Chris Prather in the 4-9 hole when I think Chris Prather struck once on the TV show last night, right? I think he threw one strike. His reaction wasn't very good. Every time he hit the pocket, he left a 10 pin, and if he missed in or he slowed it down, he was a big split through the face, right? Or some kind of 3-6-10 or whatever it was. Now you have Fa, right, in the leadoff who hasn't missed. You're seeing what Simonelli is doing. You're seeing what Parker Bone is doing, right? I'm not saying you put Fa into the anchor spot, right? Because in my opinion, you move Kyle Trooper into the anchor spot, right? You put Fa in the 4-9 spot, Arturo in the 3 spot, West lead off, and you put Prather in the 2 hole. Might have given you a better chance to win last night, right? He went down with his lineup. He went down with the ship, right? I'm just going to give him heat because in professional sports in general, in the team, if your lineup and what you're doing isn't working and you're losing, like it's on the manager to realize it, understand it, and make changes and pivots, right? Halftime, right? Think about it. You're losing the game. The head coach, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, they all come in halftime. They look at what's going on. You're losing, right? We need to make a change. We need to do substitutes. We need to try different plays. You got to try something different, right? He's down 0-2, down whatever it was, and he kept the same lineup out there. Like something was gonna happen like last year where they were down 0-2, right? No, like you're facing a steamroller of an opponent right now. Their lineup's locked in. Their players aren't missing the pocket, right? You got to try something, man. Throw something out there. Throw a new lineup there. Spark it, Mike. That's
Right,
just
I
number
agree with
one
you
college.
because if you do throw a new lineup out there and you win that third game, now it changes the momentum. Now your guys believe, all right, we got the lineup right. We're gonna steamroll them, right? And yeah, I
Change it
agree
up.
with you. I mean, I
Change it up.
watched
I
it.
mean,
I definitely
Mike,
thought that. I definitely thought that the lineup questions were lineup choices were questionable. Sorry.
look, we've bowled college in Baker format. I bowled it way too many years in my life to understand how important a Baker lineup is when you bowl Baker. It is the most important thing in a lineup, right? And when you have an anchor that's not missing and they're striking like Simonelli was striking, it is a huge, huge advantage in the Baker format. I bowled with
Huge.
Bill. I bowled with Bill O'Neill for 3 years. I know what it's like to have an anchor who barely missed in the 10th frame, right? So it was up to the guys who in the 8th, ninth to know that and to be able to put these strikes together, right? My coach used to call it strike after strike percentage. He would literally mark the people who had the best strike after strike percentage, and then he would try to pair them up together in a Baker lineup so that he was able to string strikes. Bro, like he needed to try something, do something different, man, spark it up. And it just kind of
Yeah,
annoyed me.
that's a
Like,
good point.
no, like I wanted to yell at the TV. Okay, I'm done
Okay.
with that.
All right, so let's move the conversation to this because we both wanted to talk about this. We mentioned earlier how great of a product we both feel this is for the PBA, right? We've said that for a long time. I mentioned the text I got from Steph and his comments about what a great product this is and how it would be, how as a new fan, it would be nice to see this in an expanded way. So they have this great product. I've written an article about this. We've talked about it before on the show, but we just wanted to have an updated conversation about uh, where would you like to see this go, Rob? Like, if you're going to change anything about the PBA League, you get two or three big changes to make. Where are you going with it?
I'm gonna add some teams because I want guys like Ronnie Russell and guys who were on the bubble that didn't make it. Justin Knowles, guys that we talked about that got snubbed. I want them in. Okay, so I'm gonna add a few. I'm gonna add maybe four more teams. Four more teams. And I'm gonna like involve a lot of the guys who didn't make it. Guys like Wesley Lowe, and I mean there were just a lot of. There were a lot. Was Wesley? I don't want to say wrong. I don't think Wesley was drafted. Was he? But I'm
I don't
just
believe so.
no, guys like that, right? I want to see in the league. I want to not just make it a 3-day like marathon for the Elias Cup. I'd probably maybe make some qualifying, non-Baker qualifying, throughout the year. Okay. Mostly probably during the majors because that's when usually everybody is there and they're showing up. Maybe the U.S. Open, you do it maybe before the U.S. Open or you do it after. And I know that I'm just using that as an example, right? All I'm saying is more teams have the qualifying during like the regular like season all throughout the year, and make it more serious competition, maybe add a title, okay? Because right now the way the league is, the way in the current state, the way the league is, I agree that a title should not be given for this tournament. There's too much politics in the drafting. All right. There's too many players out there that maybe should have been drafted that weren't, that maybe have an opportunity to win a title if they did. So I would expand it so that mostly everybody gets in, or maybe like the top, I don't know what, Mike, like 75 to 100 bowlers can bowl. Make it bigger, make it qualifying throughout the year. And then instead of doing one game matches on TV the way they did it, narrow the teams down so that you could have like best 3 out of 5 and 4 out of 7 matches on TV for the last like 3 or 4 matches.
Well, in order to do that, I feel like you'd have to have a bigger qualifying,
You would.
right? You know,
Like Ryder Cup, AJ Heaney said it right. Make it so that Ryder Cup you maybe earn points. The draft needs to change the way they draft. I know they're doing like a snake draft, and that needs to change. They need to do it more like the NFL does it. Where like I think the strikers were able to draft 2 players in the first 10 picks this year in a way, right? Because they were drafting last, but they like that's an advantage at this point, right? When you have 3 keepers, Mike, they had 3 keepers, and then you were able to draft 2 out of the top 10 bowlers available. So I kind of feel like they need to stop with the snake draft, go to the NFL type draft, and extend qualifying. Like make it a bigger qualifying, and then narrow down the matches and make them a lot more games on TV. Because Mike, I think we saw Simo throw 2 shots. He's the best bowler in the world, one of the best bowlers in the world, and we saw him throw 2 shots on TV this last 3 shows, Mike.
there's sometimes, and I felt this way before the podcast too, but there's sometimes where things go on with the PBA or in the bowling world where I actually wish that I did have some say. And I actually did wish that I was like in charge of something that I could say, all right, this is the direction we're going in with this.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest,
I know you wrote a great article about it.
I really, really feel that way about the PBA League. Like so much so that a part of me actually feels like, and I'm not gonna get into this discussion tonight, but a part of me feels like maybe this should be the primary focus of the PBA. Like maybe this is what we should be using all the slots on TV for. Maybe the majors.
I was going to say you have to keep the
majors. Okay, you keep the majors, obviously.
The World Series.
The majors. Maybe you don't keep the PBA Players Championship major. Maybe you don't keep that one. Maybe Tournament of Champions, Masters, U.S. Open, World Championship.
Mike,
yes.
So here's a crazy idea. What if you made the league so big and so important that you actually gave a major instead of the Players Championship? You gave a major for the Elias Cup.
No, well, to me, I'll be honest, Rob. It's not
crazy idea.
It's not about the title. You know what matters more in a lot of instances than titles to these guys?
What? Money.
Okay, money.
And
one of the big Rob. This is already a great product. Okay, what level would it bring this product to if they were bowling for say 100,000 a man?
Oh my God, that'd be wild. That'd be a wild scene. You're right,
Rob. Let me ask you a question. If they were bowling for 100,000 a man, would you see anybody getting picked because their associations would you see many bowlers who are hot and bowling well getting snubbed if they were bowling for 100,000 a man?
No, the best person you can.
Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. Like if you put me in charge tomorrow, I might walk in the door and say, "Hey guys, guess what? We're no longer a singles organization. We're a team organization. Get used to this." Okay? Yeah, you're still going to have your majors, you're still going to have your singles events, but that's not going to be our public face. That's not going to be our public face.
I love that
The
comment.
face that we're putting out to the fans is going to be this PBA league, is going to be this team competition. And here's some other things we're going to do with it. We're going to make the locations matter because we're going to change it to a regional thing. We're going to involve female players. We're going to involve regional players. We're going to expand the lineups. We're going to have better qualifying throughout the year at different sites that we go to. We're going to, and Jeff just said this, okay? We're going to air that qualifying on Bowl TV, okay? We're going to air some of that qualifying when we can on live TV on Fox
100%.
Sports, okay? So listen, am I crazy? Am I crazy for saying this? Because, like, when I watch this product, I think, how does this not have serious sponsorship behind it, serious attention on it, people interested in it, people gambling on it? I mean, are you kidding me? Like, what's better to gamble on than singles bowling? Team bowling, okay? What's more popular in the house bowling community right now than league bowling, but team bowling? There's UBA copies popping up left and right now. I'm not even going to mention. I'm sure you all see them, but
I want to throw this out there because one, I never want to see qualifying on TV ever again. I don't care if it's for $10 million.
All right, hold on.
No, let me finish my point.
What if the qualifying match? Hold on, just hear me out. What if the qualifying match has either? But what if it has some dollar value attached to it?
Yeah, not qualifying. So essentially, what you could do is you could run tournaments, not qualifying. The tournaments would run as qualifying, and every tournament would have points attached to it, right? And then if you want to air it on TV, then you have a best 4 to 7, maybe 2 or 3 matches with the teams, and then winners get points, right? And then second gets points, third gets points, and then you just go down the points. And then at the end of the year, when you have the big finale for the let's just say half $1 million, you're able to seat the teams based on how many points that they've built throughout the year, something in that nature, right? I mean, I want to see matches. I want to see heads up matches. I want to see AJ Johnson and Ryan Simonelli. You like that? You like that? I want to see more of that, right? That much money involved, that long of a season, that many teams. It'll be awesome, honestly.
Alex says if someone's walking around with a Portland Lumberjack shirt outside of Portland, and you're not a bowling fan, no one would have a clue what that's for. Okay, but Alex, I'm asking, is there a better chance to sell that version of this product than there is to sell the product we've been trying to sell for 30 plus years?
Yeah. So here's the thing: is my question to you, Mike, is has the PBA League lost its luster in a weird way, right? Like to the bowling fan, not to the Portland people.
Oh,
Portland people love it.
For me,
right?
it has. For me, it has.
So that's where like
100%.
they have to
100%.
step in. They have to step in and they have to be like, instead of going through the motions again and just trying the same shit, they need to like either go all in with the idea or just like step back and just keep it as an exhibition and just keep the way they're doing it, right?
I mean, to me, it's in such a shitty place because for the serious bowling fans, it's like an exhibition that we're not even 100% tuned into. And for the non-serious fan, they turn it on and like it's impossible to figure out what anything means. Like, oh, they're bowling a different format every time. And what's the idea of the cities? Why are they from Waco? Oh, it was because of this, but that's
Waco?
not the reason anymore. Because Snickers was there, right? Snickers was one of the sponsors, and
So
Snickers was there.
Snickers,
I think so. Yeah, I think that's.
Could someone Google that real quick in the chat? Is Snickers in Waco?
Yeah.
I was curious about that.
So yeah, like it's in such a weird place because again, like to me, it doesn't really appeal to the hardcore fan, but it doesn't really appeal to the fan that you're trying to get interested in it either. So
So I think it's interesting though.
your
Like you
brother
think
said yes, they are in Waco. He
yeah,
graduated from Stuyvesant High School, so you can
I know.
take
So
his
he
word.
knew that.
He
That
probably
was
knew that already. He
that
was
was part of
probably
the
aware of
entry
that.
part of
He
the
probably
entry
bought
exam.
he probably bought stock in the company that owned Snickers when he was like 13 or something.
Yeah, no, he'd be retired by now. But anyway, so I think like just in general, the PBA League is great. Like we love it, and we want to see the PBA expand on it. Essentially, that we want to make it more serious money, and let's bring this thing nationwide, right? And then if you want to have the finals in the big $500,000 tournament or whatever it is, Bayside, then I'm good with that. Bayside earned it; they deserve it. They're the ones who kind of, it's their baby and whatnot. But
Yeah, yo, I want to see Bayside team event where they're bowling for 100 G's, bro. A
the team
piece
could you
each.
imagine?
This was only 20,000 if you won, and it was I think 5,500 if you finished last. So there's really only a $14,000 difference between last and first
Think
in
about the
this event.
drama though during the draft. If they had, how many teams are there right now? What, 10 teams?
Something, yeah, I think so.
Okay, so say, I don't know if it's 10 or 12, but say they opened it up to like 16 teams. Okay, so now you have 20 more bowlers, or if there's, whatever it was, six more teams or five more teams, you have 25 bowlers, 25, 30 more bowlers that get in. Think about the draft and how the powerhouse teams eventually are going to end up spreading out, right? And you're not going to have these like stacked teams anymore, right? It's going to kind of spread out. Think about when you're in a fantasy draft and you're drafting with 8 teams compared to 14 teams. Your team isn't exactly the stacked anymore, right? You have to go down the depth chart, right? And you have to pick the snod grasses, right? And you have to really dig down deep to find the hidden gems, right? You have it 16 teams, and think about if they're running these tournaments and qualifying all year. And oh man, I mean, that like last 3 or 4 like shows on Bayside for that much money would be absolutely insane. It would be crazy, right? And it gets excited just talking about it. And it brings, and they get rid of some of the crap you run all year, the home run derby, the strike derby, and get rid of some of the, the money. Try to cut some corners, saving some money, and then put a lot of your time and money into the league and see what happens. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work and you can go back to doing what you want to do. But I love I love the idea, Mike. And I feel like I hope Tom Clark is listening and, you know, maybe take some criticism or
All right, we
critique.
got to, yeah. I hope he has his napkin out. You got your napkin out. You writing this down? Write this
Yeah.
down on the
Right.
napkin.
He doesn't
Uh,
like it.
I know we got to wrap this up, but
Yeah.
a couple good points here. Lou says, "Is Portland, Maine an anomaly, or would the PBA league have that impact wherever it goes?" That's the real question.
It's
I'll
an
say
anomaly.
this, Lou. I think that the product of the league has a better chance of attracting new fans, different fans than the current product that might come to any individual place. I mean, I think back to the Players Championship at Carolier; it was like dead over there. I almost felt like, man, people coming and watching competitive bowling is dead.
You
Now,
want to know the reason? Let me tell you the one reason why it's an anomaly. 2 words, Charlie Mitchell. He's he's the one who developed this whole like he has like this whole atmosphere in that area that is unique to the rest of the country. And look, like Mike, I've moved around quite a bit, that. I've bowled in LA, I've bowled in Chicago, I've bowled in Phoenix, I've bowled in New York City, in Florida. I've been around, I've seen it. I've been to Bayside. In my opinion, it's a very unique place in the fact that you have to go there to understand it's the same people. You look in the crowd, Mike. I saw the same girls that I saw 10 years ago when they probably started this that are in the crowd. They have the same people. They bowl league every week. The league is crazy. The league is they're not even bowling for money. They're bowling for the trophy. If I was a proprietor and I owned the bowling center like Charlie, I would try to imitate and replicate what he has there. It's an amazing experience. He probably does a ton of money in bar sales. They love the bowl. They go there. It's a different type of experience. You just have to go there. Trust me.
Okay. All right, we good?
We're good, man. Talk about the league. We'll see what happens next year, 2024. The non-urethane era is coming. It's coming.
All right, let's give the people what they want.
Yes, sir. By the way, Mike, dude, I love putting up memes on our social media page. It's one of my favorite things. I'll come in with a good one every once in a while, right? But man, some people take those shits so seriously. Like the comments, I'm telling you, man, I put a meme up and I'm like, man, like, can't people just laugh? Can't people just laugh these days, Mike? And you're the thief of joy. And you laugh. Like, these people are crazy out there.
Well, that's why I'm not what people say I am, because I love
I
a good
know.
laugh.
I know you do.
But we just talked for 40 minutes about serious changes we'd like to see in the league, and Jimmy comes in and says the change he wants to see is no more bad names like Pounders, or Wonders.
Breeze. What about the Breeze?
Oh my goodness.
How about what the Breeze? That's not putting fear into anybody.
Get it together.
How about like make it a tornado or a I don't know, like
Oh man,
Mike.
So Kevin Haybear sent me a worst of the week, but I'm not Kevin. I got to be honest. I'm not sure I can even share this. I want to share it so bad, but I feel like if I share it, it's just gonna. Oh man, it's gonna occupy so much of my time. And geez, I don't know. I should have asked Rob about this. I'm disappointed that I didn't. All right, maybe I'm gonna put that one on the back burner for now, and I'm gonna ask Rob about that. I'm gonna get your thoughts on that off the air. Okay. But all right, you want to go first?
Yeah,
I was thinking about that one, so I got to check real quick and see what I got in my worst of the week grab bag here.
Mine's kind of longer, okay, but it's worth it because I think this is right up your alley, no pun intended, okay? So the worst of the week goes out to Darren Watts from the Bowling Science Forum, which is the new gift that keeps on giving. He puts pictures of everyone's scores from league, and he writes, "The facility manager returns from medical leave and messes up the house pattern again. I had a league high 575. There are 4 other teams I didn't get the pictures of before the lanes shut off. Why can't he let us bowl on a normal easy pattern?" Okay, and he has Mike a normal easy pattern, so he has pictures of everyone's scores, right?
I see. I saw this.
But the comment, the manager responds. I don't know if you saw that, right?
I didn't. No.
So the response, he goes, Matthew Jackson, I believe, is the gentleman who's the manager. Goes, well, it was actually me who changed it, not the person you're referring to. Since we got our lane machine, I've done nothing but strive to create high scores. With this comes making changes to the shot and seeing what works and what doesn't. I've been making changes the first couple of weeks of the season to see what adjustments work best and which don't for the most amount of people. I will agree that this week a bad adjustment was made and there will be changes made to reverse that. Since I first started bowling in Mobile, all I've heard about is complaints about how few honor scores we have compared to the surrounding areas. I'm now in a position to be able to do something about it. But that's not something that happens overnight. No one is trying to ruin the shot. The pattern you bowled on is the same shot we've had over the summer, where the overall opinion was very positive, just with some changes. We're taking a pattern that the majority of our bowlers have had positive opinion of already and trying to improve even further on it. And then he goes on to talk about there's so much that goes into it, like lane surface, lane condition, machine adjustments. In summary, the shot is going to get better. This right here is what is the problem in the bowling world today, Mike. This is the biggest problem you could ever. This is it. In 2 posts on Facebook, where you have someone who puts pictures up complaining that he bowled 575 and pictures of everybody's scores that everybody's too low, and that people complaining that the house shot's not easy enough, and the manager going into the thread saying, "I'm sorry, everybody. This won't happen
We're
again.
on it.
We're on it. We're
trying to make them as easy as possible.
So no one complains. And
we are trying to build the Great Wall of China, but it takes time.
It takes some times. If the Wall of China wasn't built in a day. And my Mike, is this perfect thread of just
Oh, I
literally
mean
what's wrong with the sport?
that 100% shows where we're at.
I'm
That's where
saving
we're
that.
at. It's
I'm
where we're at
saving
in the
that.
bowling community. It's where we're at. Yeah, but you know what, Rob? Some people will tell you, oh no, the score is bowled on those same lane conditions that managers are trying to improve upon to make them as easy as possible. Those same lane conditions. No, like it's okay that Hall of Fame resumes are built on that.
Let me
It's
tell you.
okay. It's okay that people have claims of hundreds of 300s, hundreds of 800 series. I mean, come on,
Let me tell
come
you
on.
something, Mike. Back when I bowl league at Gil Hodges Lanes in Brooklyn, if anybody
Jimmy
complained,
is the best, Joe.
yeah,
Jimmy is the
Mike,
best. Jimmy in the chat says, "Please make it so I can bowl a 300 behind my behind my back."
Mike,
Uh,
let me. If I growing up in Brooklyn at Gil Hodges Lanes, if I or anybody went over to the lane mechanic or the general manager and complained that the lanes were tough, the mechanic and the general manager would say, just adjust, adjust. They didn't care. They put out the same shit every week, and everybody would complain that the lane sucked and there's no oil, there's too much oil, and the general manager would be like, "I don't give a shit."
oh, oh my goodness, it's too much. Listen, it's gone too far. Okay, it's gone
Yeah,
too far. I'm sorry. I am sorry, but it has gone too far. Okay, this is where we're at. And like, listen, are we going to pretend that a bunch of house leagues that the same exact thing hasn't gone on, that the same exact process hasn't been done at you know what? I
yeah.
mean, come on.
I don't know. So
All right.
anyway, that was my worst. So I figured you would get a kid. I figured that was the response
I
from the
feel like
manager made it
I
even
feel
better.
like you're baiting me with that worst of the week. I'm going to be
Oh, I
honest
was
with you.
completely baiting you. It was such a. I was literally with the fish pole.
All right, here we go. My
Uh,
worst of the week comes from the Bowling Science Forum.
the gift
Uh,
that keeps on giving, the new
it's
USB-C forum. Only it's not moderated by Tim Mike.
yeah, it's from Mike Pardue. Mike, congratulations! You won worst of the week. Here's his post, and I'll explain why I gave this worst of the week. I hope you all. I hope while I'm reading this post, I hope you all think of the same thing I'm thinking of. That's what I hope happens here. Okay. Do
Okay.
you get the show or not? If you get the show, then you're gonna understand. Okay.
Okay.
The league I'm currently bowling in is using 100% handicap from 220.
Okay.
The four person team we bowled against tonight had 456 pins of handicap per game. What the hell do you do with that? It's Here we go. Here, listen, pay attention.
I mean, it's
It's
right.
it's just a fun league. It's just a fun league, not a money league or a Vegas league or anything. So I'm not
Yeah.
mad, but damn, that's a lot of handicap. It's almost comical. It's so much. No, it's not almost comical. It's comical. Anyone got any opinion on using 100% from 220 as the handicap for a co-ed league where the averages range from 90 to 190? I thought that 100% handicap deal was mainly for leagues where everyone has a really high average. The last two seasons in this league, the handicap was 75% from 210. This is going to be a this is going to be a long season of getting crushed under the massive weight of handicap. I can't believe he wrote that phrase. I cannot believe he said that. He said, I'm going to read that again. This is going to be a long season of getting crushed under the massive weight of handicap.
You
Okay.
know what though? Let me tell you something, because I have some personal experience bowling a Vegas Fun League, and
Oh, man.
regardless of what anybody says being a fun league, anybody who ever bowled a fun league is fooling themselves if they think it's actually just a fun league, because they take it seriously and everybody wants to win and people are real serious about winning. Nobody likes losing. If it's a fun league, a scratch league, handicap league, nobody likes losing. Quick story, when I bowled my Vegas Fun League, I did it because I wanted to meet people, right? I just moved in the Orange County area. I was literally my first year there. So I joined the league. Long story short, I ran him over in sweeps. I took everybody's money. The next year, I went into the league meeting, and they voted on 100% of 240. I literally, and my team didn't really understand what the repercussions of 100% of 240 was, but I told my team we're absolutely fucked. There's no way we're winning this league at 100% of 240 because literally, like, I have to average 240 for us to even have a chance. But anyway, yeah. So don't let a Vegas Fun League fool you or a Fun League fool you. They're serious. People want to win. I know from personal experience.
That's my word. So, did you think of what I was thinking of while I was reading that? Because when I read that, I thought of this. I
Rage,
thought,
depression, frustration.
no. I mean, that's good. That's good. You get the show if you thought of that too, obviously.
That's what I was
But
thinking.
but no, I was thinking. This guy's bowling against Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. Like that, I was bowling against
This
Mamma Mia.
guy,
That's what I was
this
bowling against.
guy on the bowling science forum
Yeah,
is
he's
bowling
complaining about
against
it.
Mamma Mia.
I know, and he's
Okay,
complaining about
come
it.
on,
I
come
know, poor
on,
guy.
bro. Come
Poor guy.
on, Fun League. You're bowling against Mamma Mia. Who cares? Who
Yeah.
cares? What are you on the bowling science forum posting about it for?
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude. It's a fun league, right? It's
Okay,
supposed to be a fun league.
let's wrap it up. I'm also the enemy of Fun League, apparently. Okay.
Final thoughts. I'm curious to watch the LBC championship this weekend for some reason. I think this is to me more appealing than watching the league because like I don't even know who's bowling. I don't know what to expect. I'm just kind of
Well,
curious.
it's a bunch of pros mixed with a couple amateurs, and the one amateur is a 16-year-old kid.
Oh, really? Is that the 16-year-old
Yeah,
kid who threw it two-handed? The one
yeah,
who like absolutely ran them over?
yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I mean, I like to see some young kids bowling, right? To see how they look, and this kid absolutely crushed him. Um, but yeah, I mean, now my question is, and I don't know the answer to this. I didn't really look it up. After the LBC Championship is aired on Sunday, when's the next time professional bowling is on TV? Is there
Probably not until January.
has the schedule been even announced yet? The PBA schedule? I haven't
I
seen it.
don't think so.
Isn't that really late normally? I mean, we always talk about this, but is they normally announce this? When did they announce the schedule
No,
last year?
last year they didn't announce it until like
Like October,
yeah,
November.
late October, November. Yeah,
Okay. The Strike Derby on the 22nd, according to the website. I'm not holding my breath for the Strike Derby. All right.
yeah. You
I
can't
don't.
even bet on it either because it ain't live. So
That was the best part of it, even though like
I know.
I got my ass handed to me because I didn't realize they were using 3 lanes when I bet on the over and under
When we
last
bet the
year.
over unders, that's a
Yeah,
funny story. Yeah,
because we thought they were using 2 lanes, and I'm like, there's no way they're gonna get the space strike. Come to find out, they used like 6 lanes, and it was such a shit show.
yep.
Anyway, but all right, Mike, what are your final thoughts?
My final thought is that uh, I started off by saying I'm not with September League bowling, but yeah, now that September's wrapping up and fall is actually getting here, the weather's getting a little colder out here on the East Coast. I actually am looking forward to getting back into it. Picking up the ball again, and I would love to hit some events in the near future and have a reason to practice here and there. But yeah, definitely going to start with the Tuesday night sport pot thing. I hadn't said much about it up to this point just because I didn't know what my schedule was going to be. But if you are local and you want to come out, you're more than welcome to come out. If you want to hit me up beforehand, feel free. But Rob, yeah, that wraps it up for this week.
Real quick, though, I always want to throw a shout out to the Age and On Open. I will be in the bowling center Thursday night for the sweeper, the sweep the rack sweeper. I will be doing some live commentary as long as they have me. I will talk to them for hours. They start the qualifying Friday, Saturday. It's going to be an awesome event. There's going to be it's guaranteed money from the top down to the prize fund. I think he's paying like 1 in 5. I think.
Okay.
It's a pretty actually unique tournament. A lot of pros are going to be bowling. It's going to be a mix of pros, amateurs, and whoever. So yeah, it's going to be down here, and I believe I think it's Kyrene and Chandler. So yeah, if you haven't visited Agent Ong Open, he's got a website. Hit up Carl. He's around. He's all over social media. They're also giving out a belt, a WWE belt. So
No doubt.
Thursday start 105. See, look at that. I got all the details down.
I'll try and
Carl's
follow it a
chat.
little bit this
Yeah.
try and follow it a little bit this weekend for sure.
Yeah. So the
Nico
training
asking if I'm going to the training center. There's two things that'll get me to the training center right now. One would be if we switch the patterns in the Tuesday night thing and I need to get some working on them. Or a second would be if there's an event coming up that I'm committed to bowling. So I don't know. I'll have to see.
Yeah, and that the tournament, by the way, is October 19th. So it's going to be in a few weeks, Mike. It's like 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. The October 19th to the 22nd.
All right, no doubt. All right, Rob, take it easy. Yo, hit us up on social media. He's at Brooklyn Rob 11. I'm at the 215. That's where we do most of our conversation around the show. Hit us up through email. We love getting the emails. sweeptherack@gmail. Definitely reach out to us for whatever reason you have. If you want some merch, definitely reach out to us. Rob can point you in the right direction on the merch. And yeah, we'll see everybody next week.
Yes, sir.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn